On this page, I'd like to show you how to do a basic in-text citation of the interview which you are using in your paper in the essay. While you're reading this paragraph, which I took out of one of the drafts submitted to me last week, I want to emphasize a couple of points here. First of all, every time you use any kind of external information, it needs to be cited and documented properly. We've covered that already. If you're not sure whether to cite an external source of some kind at some point, it's better to err on the side of caution and go ahead and cite it if you're not sure. So in this case, what we have here is clearly a lot of data that this writer got from the interview with Professor Snyder, a JMU professor that this writer interviewed. So right now, it looks like this paragraph does not have any formal citation, any formal reference to the source. So what we will do with this paragraph is to give it, using the MLA style, we'll give this paragraph formal source citation. Again, in our case, in this case, the source is the interview. And it's very simple, it's very easy to cite the interview. And at the very minimum, what I will do, I will put the cursor here at the end of the paragraph. And when you stop talking about your source about the interview, at the very minimum, what you need to do is to put the name of the person you interviewed, Snyder. And typically, when you use MLA, you would put the page number if it was a printed source. In this case, of course, there is no page number for the interview, so you would not put anything else there, and you would close your parenthesis, and you would put a period at the end. So just to, again, to emphasize what I've done, I'm going to highlight this citation to let you know what I've done. So now it's clear that this whole paragraph comes from a source by someone named Snyder, who in this case is a professor of business at James Madison University. Notice, however, that this is not all you can do with this paragraph. If you look at this paragraph, there is much more to citing sources than just putting the reference at the end of the paragraph. Notice how this is a basically a reproduction of what the person told this writer in the interview. And to make it a little bit more personal, to make it a little bit more like it belongs to the person who wrote this, we're going to use something called a signal phrase. And what I want to do in the beginning of this paragraph is to let my readers know that, yes, I interviewed somebody, this is from them, but at the same time I want to make this paper look like it's mine, that I actually work with this information and I'm actually doing something with it. So I wanted to make it sound like it's mine, like I'm actually actively involved in this. So what I will do is I will use a couple of signal phrases throughout the paragraph to show you how that can be done. One of the things that academic writers do a lot is sort of to signal that the information they're about to give their readers comes from a source is to use this phrase, according to Professor Snyder, put a comma, and then it continues. Starting out at a small Christian college, Snyder wasn't quite sure what she wanted to major in. Okay, so I'm going to highlight this again to show you what I've done. This way it's clear that I'm working with sources, but it's also clear that I'm not just sort of thoughtlessly reproducing everything that I was being told, that I'm actually trying to signal where it's me speaking and where it's the source speaking. Now I'm going to do a little bit of editing here, so I'm going to break this up into two paragraphs. Okay, I'm going to put another citation here at the end of this paragraph, and I'm going to highlight it to make sure that we understand what's going on. And then in the beginning of the second paragraph, I will also use a different signal phrase to keep my readers informed of the fact that I'm still working with a source. So what I will do is this: Snyder also stated that, and continue with my sentence. That's another signal phrase. And I'll highlight it for you to see what I've done. Okay? That initially beginning in the finance direction and so on and so forth. And then at the end I will leave my quotation, my parenthetical reference here at the end as well. Now, I am more or less done with the references this is the so-called in-text citation that we have discussed. Now I need to provide my readers with a full citation at the end of my paper. So what I will do when I'm done with my sources, I will now create a works cited list in MLA at the end of the paper. This is called works cited. Other systems call it references or something else. You may see it in other classes. Now what I need to do is to give my readers the full information about the interview. And so I will write Snyder, Kathy, I think her name was, put a period, personal interview, and year. That is all you need. This is your end of paper citation. This way, as you can see, when somebody reads your paper and sees the in-text citation referring to Snyder, they can go back to the end of the paper and find out the full information, the full citation for this source. And if they want to, they can look up the rest of the source if it's published somewhere. In our case, of course, it's not published, but you still need to do it this way. I hope this makes sense. Please let me know if you have any questions. Now that you have seen my example of citing the interview in the MLA style, both in text and at the end of your paper, go ahead and look up ways to cite websites using MLA style, both in the text and in the works cited list at the end of your essay. In the calendar for the course, I posted some links that will help you find that information out. Citing sources is a very important activity, one that, as I said in the beginning, not just related to the so-called rules of writing, but really primarily one that will help you establish credibility as a writer and establish a certain attitude that your readers will have to you as a trustworthy and responsible author. So again, it's extremely important. This is the beginning of our conversations about source citing and documenting, and there are more things you can do with the signal phrases in the text and things like that, and we'll keep learning how to do those. But as you prepare this draft for next week, at the minimum, you should try and cite and document any external sources that you used in your paper using the suggestions that I've posted here and ways that I've explained here in this tutorial. And as always, if you have any questions, please